All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive on this Brazilian film, I'm Still Here.
Oh, yeah?
It's making some waves and even got 3 Oscar nominations.
Wow.
So we've got this article here talking about its success, and
Okay.
we're going to kind of dig into what makes this film tick.
Well, it's interesting because it doesn't really seem like the typical Oscar movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a historical drama set during Brazil's military dictatorship.
Right, not exactly a light watch.
No, not at all. And it lasted for like 2 decades, this period.
Yeah, and the film focuses on this family, the Paiva family.
Okay.
And their lives are totally upended when the father, Rubens,
Mhm.
he's taken by the military police and just disappears.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking 1971 here, so real intense political repression.
And it's based on a true story, right?
Yeah, it's drawn from the Paiva family's real experiences.
Wow.
The son, Marcelo, wrote a memoir about it.
That's heavy.
And to add another layer, the director, Walter Salles, actually knew the Paiva family
Oh, wow.
growing up.
So this is really personal for him.
Yeah, you can really sense that connection in the film.
Yeah, it definitely.
Especially in how he chose to structure the film.
How so?
Well, instead of starting with the tragedy, he kind of immerses us in the Paiva family's life before Rubens disappears.
Interesting choice. Why do you think he did that?
I think it makes the impact of Rubens' disappearance hit harder.
I see.
You experience their happiness first.
Yeah, it's like he sets up this beautiful world and then
Exact.
it's ripped away.
And the film follows the family, particularly the mother Eunice,
Okay.
as they try to navigate this new reality.
It must have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah, she eventually becomes a human rights lawyer fighting for truth and accountability.
That's amazing. Fernanda Torres plays her right.
Yes, and she's phenomenal.
She's a great actress.
She captures Eunice's strength and resilience perfectly.
I read about this one scene where she refuses to not smile
Oh, yeah.
for a
That's
photograph.
Such a small moment, but so powerful.
Yeah, it's like she's defying the dictatorship.
Exactly, refusing to be a victim.
And that resonates with audiences, especially in Brazil.
Right, the article said it's the highest grossing domestic film since the pandemic.
Wow, that's huge.
And I think it's partly because of the current political climate in Brazil.
Right. Things have been a bit shaky, haven't they?
Yeah, there are these concerning echoes of the past.
Yeah, with the rise of far-right politics, it's
Yay!
scary stuff.
So it's not just a historical drama, it's tapping into something very real.
A very real fear.
Exactly. And it's not just Brazil, the film has done well internationally, too.
That's great.
It even got 3 Oscar nominations.
Yeah, I saw that Best Picture, Best Actress for Fernanda Torres.
And Best International Film?
Quantichuca.
It's like the story is striking a chord everywhere.
It's a human story, not just a Brazilian one.
Exactly, and it forces us to ask some tough questions.
Like what?
Well, about the impact of political repression and
Right.
how societies heal from these traumas.
Yeah, how do we make sure history doesn't repeat itself?
And on a personal level, it makes you think about the importance of memory
Definitely.
and facing the past.
It's not always easy, though.
No, but I think it's necessary.
For sure.
So we've covered the basics, the plot, the context, the film's success,
Good overview.
but I want to dig deeper into how Salles brought this story to life.
Ah, yes. His artistic choices are really interesting.
Absolutely, like his decision to shoot the film in black and white.
Right, at first I thought that was just an aesthetic choice.
But it's so much more than that, right?
Yeah, it adds this rawness and you're instantly transported back in time.
Yes, and it makes those little glimmers of hope stand out even more.
Oh, you mean like that scene where
Yeah.
Eunice is dancing with her friends?
Exactly. The joy in that moment feels so poignant.
Right, because of the contrast with the darkness surrounding them.
And the article mentioned that the actual filming was impacted by Brazil's political climate.
Oh, really? How so?
Salles said he wouldn't have been able to make this film during the Bolsonaro years
I see, because of...
because of restrictions on filming in public spaces.
That's a scary thought.
It is, and it makes the film's existence even more significant.
It's like an act of defiance.
Exactly.
And its success, both domestically and internationally, is like a big screw you to those restrictions.
It's like a collective act of resistance.
I love that.
So we've only scratched the surface here, but I think we've got a good foundation.
Yeah, for sure.
We've talked about the plot, the context, the success.
And those artistic choices.
But there's so much more to unpack.
Can't wait to dive in.
What really intrigues me is how Salles portrayed Eunice's resilience.
Right, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Exactly. It's about fusing to live fully
And fight back.
and find joy even in the midst of loss.
That's inspiring.
And it's something we can all relate to.
Even if we've never experienced political oppression
Yeah, we all face challenges.
and setback.
And I'm Still Here shows us that resilience isn't about just enduring.
Right, it's about holding on to your humanity.
Finding beauty and meaning even in the face of darkness.
Beautifully put.
And Eunice doesn't just endure, she actively resists.
How so?
She becomes a lawyer. She speaks out against the dictatorship.
Yeah, she fights for justice.
For her husband and for others.
That's powerful.
And that's where the film's message really hits home.
Yeah, it's a call to action.
To find your voice, stand up for what's right, and refuse to be silenced.
And that message resonates beyond the context of this one dictatorship.
Exactly. It speaks to something universal about the human spirit.
Our need to resist injustice.
And make our voices heard.
It's a message we all need to hear.
Especially today.
With everything going on in the world.
Right. It's a reminder that we can't take our freedoms for granted.
We have to be vigilant and engaged.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part.
Yeah, we've laid a good foundation.
We talked about the plot, the historical and political context.
We talked about the film's success.
And even touched on the artistic choices and its message of resilience.
It's been fascinating.
But there's still more to uncover.
So much more.
In the next part, I want to dig deeper into the film's exploration of memory.
Oh yes, that's a really interesting aspect.
And how it connects to truth and justice.
I'm looking forward to that. So you mentioned wanting to dig deeper into how the film explores memory.
Yeah, it's such a powerful thread throughout the film.
It really is. It's not just about remembering the past, though, is it?
No, it's about how memory shapes identity, fuels the fight for justice.
Right.
It even becomes like a battleground in the face of oppression.
You see that on a personal level with the Paiva family.
Mm-hmm.
They cling to their memories of Rubens.
Right.
It becomes a course of strength for them.
And comfort amidst the grief and uncertainty.
Exactly.
But it's not always happy memories.
No.
There are those moments where Eunice is haunted by fragments of that night.
Oh, right, the night Rubens was taken.
Yeah, is struggling to piece together what happened.
That must be so painful.
It highlights how trauma can fracture memory.
Yeah, leaving these gaps and uncertainties.
And the film goes even further.
How so?
It shows how memory itself can become a target of political repression.
Oh, wow. Like they're trying to erase the past.
Exactly. Rewrite history, silence those who speak out.
And that's so relevant to what's happening today.
With disinformation and attempts to manipulate history.
Exactly. It's happening everywhere.
I'm Still Here reminds us that the fight for truth and memory is ongoing.
It's a battle we have to keep fighting.
It's not just about dictatorships either.
No, it's about any society where power tries to control the narrative.
It's like the film is saying that memory is a form of resistance.
By remembering, we challenge those in power.
We refuse to let the past be erased.
And Eunice embodies that.
Right.
She refuses to let them take her memories.
Or her truth.
Or Rubens' legacy.
And her fight for that death certificate, even decades later.
It's symbolic.
It is. It's a fight for acknowledgement, for justice.
For reclaiming a shared history.
That's powerful.
It really is.
Like the film is saying that the fight for memory is a fight for our humanity.
Without memory, we're lost.
Vulnerable to manipulation.
Unable to learn from our mistakes.
And that's why Eunice's choice to smile, even in the face of loss, is so powerful.
It's like a big screw you to the dictatorship.
Exactly. She's saying, you can't break me, you can't take my spirit.
You can't erase my story.
And that connects back to the film's title, I'm Still Here.
Right.
It's not just Eunice saying it.
It's the memory of Rubens, the family's resilience.
The spirit of resistance.
It's multi-layered.
It really is.
Okay, so we've talked about memory as resistance.
As a source of strength, a battleground.
Right.
But there's another aspect.
What's that?
It's fragility.
Oh yes, that's subtly introduced through Marcella the son.
He's writing his memoir, right?
Yeah, when his mother starts experiencing memory loss.
From Alzheimer's?
It's like a double loss.
Rubens to the dictatorship, and then Eunice's memories to time and illness.
That adds another layer to the film.
It really does. It's a reminder that memory is fragile.
Even though we try to protect it,
it raises this question of what happens when our memories fade.
What happens to the stories we carry?
It's heartbreaking.
It is, but I think the film still offers hope.
Yeah, how so?
Because even though individual memories fade, storytelling creates a collective memory.
So Marcella's memoir, the film itself, become vessels for those memories.
Exactly.
They ensure that those memories live on.
And it speaks to the power of art of storytelling.
It transcends individual memory.
It creates a lasting legacy.
It reminds us that even in the face of forgetting, there's beauty in remembering.
In sharing our stories, in connecting to something larger than ourselves.
And in listening to the stories of others.
Yes, bearing witness to their experiences.
Wow, this conversation has been so thought-provoking.
It's one of those films that stays with you.
It makes you think about your own memories.
Your own stories, your own connection to the past.
After all this talk about memory and truth,
yeah,
I need a little emotional lift.
Something to remind us that there's still beauty and joy.
Well,
speaking of beauty and joy, what about the music in the film?
Yes, I was hoping we'd get to that.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's such an eclectic mix.
Brazilian music, original scores, even some rock.
And it's used so well to underscore the emotions.
Like in that scene where Eunice and her friends are dancing.
Oh yeah, the music is so joyful.
It's like a burst of life.
A reminder that even in dark times, people find ways to celebrate.
To connect, to find joy.
And the music amplifies that feeling.
And then there are moments where the music is more somber.
Like when Eunice receives news of Ruben's disappearance.
Oh, right. The music is haunting.
It mirrors the weight of her grief.
It's like the music is giving voice to their unspoken emotions.
It's amazing how music can impact our experience of a film.
It really is. It taps into our emotions.
It evokes memories.
It creates a shared experience.
And in I'm Still Here, it's not just background music.
It's part of the storytelling.
It creates a world that's both beautiful and heartbreaking.
Hopeful and despairing.
And that's the beauty of the film. It doesn't shy away from difficult emotions.
But it also finds space for beauty, for joy.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can find a way.
To persevere, to create, to find meaning.
And that message feels so relevant today.
In a world that often feels dark and divided,
I'm Still Here offers us a glimmer of hope.
It reminds us that resilience can endure.
We've been talking for a while now.
We have.
And we've only scratched the surface.
There's still so much more to discuss.
I know, but I think we should save some of it for our final part.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's wrap up this section.
Come back fresh.
Ready to dive into the film's lasting impact and relevance.
I can't wait.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into I'm Still Here.
It's been quite the journey.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We talked about the plot, the historical context.
The themes of memory resilience, the fight for truth.
We even touched on the artistic choices Sal's made.
But now I want to shift the focus to you, the listener.
Ah, yes, because ultimately it's about how this film resonates with you.
Exactly. So as you've been listening to us, what stuck with you?
What made you think differently, feel something, or maybe even question your own assumptions?
Was it Eunice's strength in the face of loss?
Or the way the film shows how fragile memory is?
Maybe it was the reminder that the fight for truth and justice is never over.
Or maybe it was simply the power of art itself.
Whatever it is, I encourage you to hold on to that feeling.
Let it simmer, see where it takes you.
Because this isn't just a film you watch and forget.
It's an experience that can stay with you long after the credits roll.
It might even inspire you to take action.
So let's talk about the film's lasting impact.
Yeah, because even though it's set in a specific time period,
the themes resonate far beyond that.
The struggle for freedom, the fight against oppression,
the importance of memory and truth.
These are universal human experiences.
They transcend borders and time.
So think about your own life, your own community, your own country.
Where do you see echoes of the struggles shown in I'm Still Here?
Where do you see opportunities to speak truth to power?
To fight for what's right, to make sure history doesn't repeat itself?
Because I'm Still Here isn't just a story from the past.
It's a call to action for the present.
A reminder that we all have a role to play in building a better world.
It shows the power of the human spirit to resist, to persevere, to hope.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
I want to leave you with this.
I'm Still Here shows us that it's important to remember to speak out, to never give up hope.
But it also asks us, what will you do?
How will you make sure that you are still here?
Fighting for what's right, making your voice heard, contributing to a better future.
The answer to that lies within each of us.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope it inspired you to think, to connect with the power of stories, to embrace your role in shaping the world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going.